like different nachos.
Alrighty, welcome. You are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I'm Caleb.
And I am Rachel.
And in this week, the last show before we take our little break.
Yes.
By the way, before I forget, we will have your movie news, which is a lot, and probably Rachel's favorite segment today.
Yes, and we do have a little bit of a dash of book news in there too.
Yep.
Just a dash.
Same thing as entertainment.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's entertainment.
And then a little bit of Nintendo news and our nerd vocab too.
Yep. We will be pairing the nerd vocab with the Nintendo news because it's so small, and the video game news is actually
rather in depth.
Quite large. Like this story,
is just.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's one story, but it's really big, and we'll get to that eventually. And then lastly, we'll have your technology news, which it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Overall, not my most exciting week. I think it's not my most exciting week.
Not for you, no.
Not for me.
No.
This week's not for me.
But for me, maybe.
For Rachel, yeah.
I think so.
At the beginning. So, what's going on in the world of things and stuff?
Fantastic Four.
Okay. Yes, the tallies are in, everybody. And the Fant Four stick, as the title says, well, can you just guess? Can we just take a little guess here?
Twas not well received.
Yeah, it's quite not good.
As the director said, you will not see my version of Fantastic Four.
Even the director says it sucks.
Yeah, which is kind of, I guess it's the studio's fault, maybe. That's what people are saying anyway.
It's just something so they can hang on to the copyright.
Pretty much.
Translate to not a lot of love given into the movie.
Right. I suppose so. But, on that line of things, they have... the director, as far as I know, has released his version of the script. I think it was the director, whoever. But they released or leaked or whatever the original version, which is apparently quite different. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but from what I've heard, it's not the movie you see on screen, which is interesting.
Right, which is understandable. Like a whole slew of people pretty much had their hands in this cookie jar, leaving not a lot of stuff.
Right, but something good did come out of it. Because of the flop, they have chosen to steer their vision a little bit more and give us a Deadpool 2, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
this far ahead in advance, before the first film is even out, which is nuts, might I add.
Yeah, I also know, I heard, you might take this with a little grain of salt, that because of this, also the Fantastic Four might be moving in with the X-Men. Which, we'll see how that revival goes when we get down that road.
Yeah, that's way in the future. In the future. But speaking of superheroes, so everybody talks about how Marvel does their contractual deals where they nail actors in for 6 or 9 pictures, and then it's that's all you're going to do for a long time. And then they make a whole load of money off it, so it doesn't matter. But I don't think we really talk too much about how Warner Brothers does their contractual stuff.
Warner Brothers, not as exciting. Come on.
But apparently they want to do the shared universe thing as well, but they are putting their actors in these ironclad deals that will force talent to show up in a cameo at any time. Who knows?
Wow, that's kind of strict.
Well, I mean, Marvel does that because they don't necessarily contract them into just a series of movies. They kind of contract them into the character. Like if a cameo for Captain America is supposed to be seen in such and such a movie, then he has to do it. I guess that's kind of what they're alluding to anyway. But a new report at Den of Geeks indicates that they're kind of making it up as they go along, in terms of Warner Brothers at least. According to the site, Warner Brothers has just offered to extend Ben Affleck's contract to include not just one Batman movie that he's directing, but 2 additional ones.
What?
I mean, this does make sense. Ain't nobody does a standalone superhero movies this day and age. No, nobody does. Nobody does just one superhero movie. Unless it turns out to be really, really bad. Now, if it's good, which this one apparently received a standing ovation at their first screening,
Yeah,
which is
Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, which is
apparently had a screening that we weren't invited to.
Well, of course.
How rude.
I mean,
come on, we're like celebrities.
But it seems to be that they're clearing room, or Ben's going to be clearing room in his calendar to get Batman all the time, which is kind of cool because I kind of want to see more of what he's going to do, because what we've seen so far is very limited. And of course, then he has, I guess, a cameo in the Suicide Squad film too, as Batman. And I don't know, it's going to be pretty nuts, but I'm excited. I'm honestly excited. I just love superhero stuff.
Kind of reminds me of the Fairly Odd Parents. Did you ever see that?
Well, yes, but
with Catman, and you had Adam West, who essentially became Catman because he's like, it was kind of funny. He's just like, he didn't identify himself as Adam West. Well, he did, but then he's like, I'm Catman. He thought it was real, and so like he shaped his whole life around being Catman, which is kind of funny.
Okay.
I figured that that's kind of like what Ben Affleck's going to turn into.
He's not going to shape his whole life around Batman. That's like saying Christian Bale has shaped his whole life around Batman, which he obviously hasn't, even though he did a trilogy. So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? I mean, Michael Keaton sure didn't, and he did 2 films. I mean, and then after that, they had the 2 other people play Batman. So, it's nuts.
I don't know.
It's nuts.
If I could do an Adam West impression, I would, but I can't.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
This is exciting.
Oh, yes, Rachel. Should I turn your microphone down at all? Or?
Oh, well, I mean, you can talk about it too. I mean, you like Gene Wilder. Everyone loves Gene Wilder. If you don't like Gene Wilder, there's something wrong with you.
So, did you know this is a triple, double, quadruple confirmed that Beetlejuice 2 is happening.
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? You're skipping over Gene Wilder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You jumped the gun.
I jumped the gun.
You so jumped the gun.
You could tell I had a good night's rest last night.
Apparently not.
Okay. Excuse me. Gene Wilder hasn't been seen on screen since an Emmy-winning guest spot on Will and Grace in 2003 and 2008. He publicly announced his retirement.
Yeah, so he hasn't really been seen in the media, period. Nope. He's just been, I mean, he's written books and plays, and I think he did some art stuff every now and then. But
yeah, he said he will be willing to return for Mel Brooks.
But otherwise, it'd probably take something huge to get him to unretire.
Yeah,
but
perhaps some kind of Steven Spielberg movie?
I don't know. I mean, Steven Spielberg is pretty big. But rumor has it that Spielberg is trying to coax Wilder back in front of cameras for one of his upcoming projects, like the BFG, which is Big Friendly Giant, which is, it's a Roald Dahl book, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Or even Ready Player One,
which I still have yet to read.
It's apparently I read the first chapter or 2. It's really, really good. But
I haven't
gotten around to reading more of it. But ain't it cool news? I originally reported that this rumor about Gene Wilder and the Ready Player One. According to their sources, meetings will be or already have taken place, so we may not be just talking about the idle fantasy casting here. Who knows? It's still unclear which project Spielberg wants Wilder for, but those are the 2 on his plate, which is Ready Player One and the BFG. The film. The sources suggest that BFG, though, the film has already wrapped production and is set for a summer 2016 release, but it's not too late for Wilder to contribute at least a voice role. I don't know exactly what that means. I didn't even know that they were making the BFG into a movie, which shows how much I know. But
gosh, Rachel, I thought you were supposed to be on top of all this stuff. I'm kidding, by the way. Okay.
But what's really what's really cool about Ready Player One which is the movie's slated to release in late 2017. But specifically, there's a character called James Halliday, he's a virtual reality universe creator. And in the book he is. And it's a very Wonka-esque character, which we all know Gene Wilder that what made him, a home-known name, as it were. So who knows? Who knows? We'll see. I hope Gene comes out of retirement, but this is the news I'm excited for. And of course, Caleb stole my thunder.
Because I need to take a nap or something. I need to wake up. Rachel, go ahead.
Okay, so as most of you know, Beetlejuice is my favorite film of all time. And over the past couple of, since January, there's been increasing inklings of the sequel happening.
Is Splatoon? Sorry, every time you say inkling, I just have to think of Splatoon.
But apparently it is happening. It's been confirmed again by Winona Ryder, who played Lydia Dietz. Kind of confirmed her own involvement in the sequel on Late Night with Seth Meyers. They played 20 questions, I believe, and he asked, what can you say about it? And then she goes, I think I can confirm it, because Tim Burton did this interview with Entertainment Weekly, and it was, it's been hush-hush and all top secret. And then that's when he did all the press for Big Eyes. He did an on-camera interview and said that, and then he said it several other times. And now there's, news that a script's been written and all that kind of stuff. So this is just another confirmation that something is happening. So
there you go. Quadruple confirmed, as I mentioned before.
Of course. Well,
Rachel is super excited.
I am so excited.
When is it coming out? Like 2018?
I have no idea when it's going to come out.
Everything's coming out in 2016, by the way, in case you didn't know.
But I don't even know if they're going to say anything formally this year. Like, the rumor is, the word on the street is, as it were, is that filming starts this fall, which I'm assuming October.
Oh.
But
so
they don't really say much else than that.
No, I don't think they can. Anything else would be like spoilery, but you got to wonder what they're going to do. It's probably just going to be like, Beetlejuice going to pop back up, and then I don't know.
I have no idea what they're going to do.
We have the same characters, different characters.
Well, what I do know is that the core characters that are returning, or the core actors at least, are going to be Michael Keaton and Winona. That's pretty much it. I don't foresee Gina Davis or Alec Baldwin returning as they were, because they obviously look nothing like they did ever.
Alec Baldwin,
and because they're supposed to be ghosts, so ghosts don't change that much at all. So I can't really foresee them returning, physically, but they might, if the character Lydia has like a conversation on the phone with them or something.
Do you think Lydia will be like a supernatural detective kind of
I don't
thing?
know. I have no idea.
Since she can like see ghosts.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to pretend to know or speculate, because then I'll get my hopes up for a certain thing happening in the script or a certain storyline that they do, and I don't want to get my hopes up, mainly because it could be completely different. But what makes me really happy is that it's a sequel that's going to be based 20 some odd years later, like present day, instead of like a reboot or something, which would ultimately disappoint me. And so we'll see. We'll see. And
all right, I want to tell you, I'm going to try. Let's see if I'm awake now. The upcoming Ghostbusters reboot will reportedly feature an appearance by Bill Murray. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool and interesting, because, the people previously reported that
none of the previous actors
were going to be in it, because it's a whole new kit and caboodle. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that.
So, according to THR, Murray, who played Dr. Peter Venkman in the first two films, will show up in the Paul Feig directed film. Is that how you say Feig? Feig?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, the nature or length of Murray's role isn't specified, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's
going to be in there, so you'll probably be like a little cameo.
That's what they said.
That's what be a janitor.
Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe even a ghost?
I have no idea. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about these things.
That would be so meta, though, if he was like a ghost or something.
It would be, but like I said, I'm not going to pretend to know any of these things or speculate too much, because I don't Well, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get anyone else's hopes up for something that may not actually
You
happen.
just don't want to get any hopes up at all. You
No.
just want us to not hope.
Well, I mean, you can hope all you want, but you don't want to
Could it be such
come
a
to
negative
expect
Nancy,
something.
Rachel?
I'm not a
Jeez.
negative Nancy.
Gosh.
But and our last little dash of book news
Yeah.
is that there's going to be a new fantasy story from Tolkien that is said to be published in fall. The author's estate is releasing the story of Kullervo in October, which is one of his earliest prose works that would eventually lead him into writing the middle Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff.
I gotta wonder. I don't think it really says in here. It might, but who made the book published? Isn't Tolkien's not? Is he dead?
Well, yes,
Well, then how is he publishing books?
it's his estate. His estate can any of his works that they find. I mean, his son is the one that handles it. Yeah,
that was my next thing. Is it like his son or something?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's the author's estate is releasing it. So whoever's in charge of his estate, which has been his son for the longest time, is releasing it.
Okay. See, I didn't know how.
And I mean, and that's why Peter Jackson is not allowed to make Tolkien movies anymore. Which why we will never see the Silmarillion on the big screen, at least with Jackson. So.
I don't know.
No, that's who
That's
has
interesting.
control.
You now learned how books are published after.
Well, that's how it's that's how it's always been. If you find a deceased author's works, if the estate finds it, it's their decision whether or not to release it or not because they're in control of it. They have control over all of his property. So that's just how it works.
There you go.
But yeah, next up we're going to have our Nintendo news and nerd vocab. It's just a dash of Nintendo news, not much going on with them
literally
this
one
week.
thing.
Literally one thing. So our song is what, Caleb?
Jump in the line
By Harry Belafonte.
to celebrate the Beetlejuice 2 triple quadruple confirmed. thing.
Another confirmation.
Yep.
Yes.
And we'll be right back here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio.
And we are back on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. My name is Rachel, and I have in front of me Caleb.
Hello. I hope I'm awake. So let's just
go right on into it. Let's
Guess
go
what?
right on into it.
Go ahead. You can get a shiny Rayquaza on Nintendo Wi-Fi network on your Sapphire or Alpha Omega or yeah.
Alpha
Sapphire, Omega Ruby. You
Yeah,
can get
Alpha, Sapphire, and
shiny
Omega
Rayquaza.
Ruby. Yep.
Yep, and it'll come with Dragon Ascent, Ascent, and you can Mega Evolve it, and it's black, it's shiny, it's cool. I kept resetting my game to get a Adamant Natured one because I'm cheap like that, and so yeah. I wanted my Adamant Nature Rayquaza so it can punch stuff really hard.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really into playing Pokemon too much anymore. Just not anymore.
That's fine.
I tried so
It's
hard.
understandable.
Yeah, I tried so hard to get back into it. I just couldn't. I don't know. But, yep. But if you like Pokemon, you can get a shiny Rayquaza. What's the color difference, if at all?
It's black.
It's black. Ooh.
Instead of green, it's black. And it looks cool.
That's Neato Mosquito.
And it keeps its color when it Mega Evolves. So now you get like a
Oh.
shiny black Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza.
That's
pretty
nuts.
awesome.
That sounds absolutely insane.
Like in the Hoopa movie. In the Hoopa movie,
Hoopla.
summons a shiny black Rayquaza out of nowhere. So
Yes.
Great.
So, onward to our nerd vocab. Our nerd vocab today is MacGuffin. In fiction, a MacGuffin, sometimes MacGuffin or MacGuffin, is a plot device in the form of some goal, desired object, or other motivator that the protagonist pursues, often with little or no narrative explanation. The specific nature of a MacGuffin is typically unimportant to the overall plot. So, an example of this in video games, side quests.
Side quests.
Side quests
with
are
random
MacGuffins.
stuff. Chaos Emerald and Sonic.
Yes, also a
Those are
MacGuffin.
Yes.
Any sort of collectible extra things that you can really get in a game is a
see.
MacGuffin.
What are some other examples of MacGuffin? Like in a movie, The Ring, the One Ring. It's kind of a MacGuffin.
No,
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 is it not?
no. That's an actual an actual plot device that is
So that's a bad
useful.
example.
No, that's a terrible example.
That's a
That's
bad
definitely
example.
not a MacGuffin. No, it's
So it's I'm trying to think.
well,
It's hard to think of
a
one.
good example that even in literature and in
Horcruxes.
no, that's not a MacGuffin.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes. They have narrative explanation.
Well,
A good example of this in TV and literature is anything called filler.
oh,
Anything called filler.
Cool.
It's like a chapter a chapter in a book that's really entertaining but doesn't necessarily it's a plot device that will
so
be
like
yeah.
2 or 3 pages or a whole chapter trying to describe like a stick or something.
Well, no, it's like a funny scene where something happens where they go to get something, but it's not explained why they go to get something, like that. And like
we have to go to the mountain because kind
Well-
of like in Journey.
I
just told
I
to go
guess
to the
so,
mountain.
but it's not necessarily. It's a plot device that really like goes with the story, but it's not something that they explain. Like it's something that's not explained. Like the ring is explained. The Horcruxes are explained.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like I said, in side quests and stuff like that are a good example in video games, at least. And anything called filler in, say, like anime,
there's a lot.
there's a lot
usually
of
filler in
MacGuffin.
anime.
All filler is MacGuffin. That's what that is. So those are examples of that. But
Okay.
anything
And I gave
that-
you some wrong examples.
Yeah.
So there you go.
yeah, that's not a MacGuffin. No.
Uh,
Those are plot devices, yes,
Plot
but they're
devices.
not a MacGuffin because they're explained.
all right. Well, that's pretty much it for that section. There, that was
It's a
short.
little short, tiny section. So what? I guess now we can kind of do a little bit of promo stuff for us. If you like our show, if you think we're great, we are on Facebook, the Nerd Edification Hour. We do a daily posting of this day in nerd history. There's going to be some other new things coming relatively soon as well. Our time will be changing, as we've said. We're going to take next week off, probably the week after that. I'm not sure what our time's going to change to yet. We're still working out all the details, but we're not going away. We're still going to be here, but
No,
we're just going
we're not
to.
going away, not unless
Yep.
everybody is tired of me, and then we'll probably go away. But
But and also you can find us on Twitter, which is
at Nerd Edification, where occasionally I'll spam the Twitters and just I'll be like, hey,
exactly.
Windows 10, what's up with that?
And you can also find us on YouTube on Caleb's channel. It's Strangely Entertaining. He also puts playthrough videos on there as well.
Yeah, some gameplay stuff. Like look forward to Friday. Look forward on my channel for a game that may have something to do with squids. That's all I'm going to say. You can probably
Well-
guess what that is.
And if you're watching on YouTube right now and you haven't liked and subscribed, do so right
Yes,
now
please,
and
because-
share the video.
It's one of the only ways I know. That's really some of the only feedback I get.
And if you're not watching on YouTube and you're instead watching on GCTV, go and find us on YouTube and like and subscribe.
Or at least the Facebook page.
Or at least the
where,
Facebook page, yes. And also, quick promo for something else. We here at the Nerd Edification Hour love promoting our friends who also do podcasts, and our friends over at the Hadron Gospel Hour, which is a story podcast based in space and in alternate realities and all sorts of different stuff. They're up for a Geeky Award, and that's a really, really actually big award for entertainment stuff. So I've actually pinned the page that you need to visit to vote for them on the top of our page. So go there, and vote for them.
That'll be $5, by the way. Hadron
no.
Gospel Hour. That's
No.
$5
No.
for advertising.
No.
And-
we like them and they like us. So we do what we can to help our fellow podcasters.
Yeah. Also, before I forget, I have a couple shout outs. Hello, James, and hello, Brittany. If you're watching this, hello, hi. And also, hi, Mom, and Andrew, and everyone else, because, yeah.
So now we are going to go to our next song, but after that, we're going to be doing a story on Destiny and the Taken King.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So what's our song?
Because it's huge. Well, you know how I was saying Chaos Emeralds and stuff from Sonic
Yep,
series.
you were.
Well, recently at Creative Con, I went to Dusty's booth, which they had Sonic Rush, and I played it, and I liked the soundtrack, and so that's pretty much all the music we have on here today.
All right. Well,
Sonic Rush music, and the song is Right There, Right On. It's an interesting song, that's for sure. And we'll be right back here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And we are back here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Rachel.
And I think that song kind of woke me up, hopefully.
Yeah, it was a fun song.
Yeah,
I liked it.
If you liked it, that's good. If you didn't, then oh well. You're
so nice, Caleb.
I know. I'm just the nicest person ever. Rachel, you play a lot of Destiny, don't you?
Well, I kind of do. I haven't played it in I haven't played it in several weeks because I'm waiting for this new expansion. So I've been playing other things. But yes, I have played a lot of Destiny.
Yeah. So what do you remember? If you remember last week, we talked about Peter Dinklage.
No more Dinklebot.
No more Dinklebot. No more Dinklish.
Yeah, he was the voice of the in-game Ghost companion. But they've recently hired voice actor Nolan North, who is, most known for Uncharted and Assassin's Creed and stuff.
Before, let me clarify, a ghost is not like an actual ghost.
No,
it's a little
robot thing.
Spiky orb thing that follows you.
Yeah, it's a little robot orb thing. Yeah.
All right.
So and as we reported, he's not only been brought on for the expansion, but basically re-recording all of the dialogue that Ghost had in the entire game, completely replacing Peter Dinklage's voice.
I would have accepted that the bot got bumped or something, and then his voice chip got changed or something.
Well, they could have done it that way, but there's a reason why they did it this way. Dinklage's voice acting in the original game was widely criticized by fans, even after Bungie dropped his most infamous line in the game's beta test.
The wizard came from the moon.
That wizard came from the moon. So, and they even have T-shirts of it. Like, they acknowledge it exists, but they don't want it in the game. But in an interview with GameSpot, Destiny's lead concept artist Jesse Van
It's like
Dijik. I'm not exactly sure. I will look that up later and probably correct myself. Spoke about why Bungie decided to make such a significant change. According to him, Bungie wanted to rework the entire game in order to make it more clear and guide players more. So the team calls this process questification of Destiny, and it involves an overhaul of the quest and bounty systems in the game.
Is that anything like... Oh, you just explained it. Okay, never mind.
Yes. We wanted, according to him, he's explaining, we wanted to improve the sense of what goals players were chasing after, because very often we would find that they were chasing after a gun or following a specific quest line. What we wanted to do was chart that more clearly, and ultimately that led to something that was called questification. So all of the Taken King content has been given that treatment, and when they started working on that, they were so satisfied with that formula, they went, wait a minute, why don't we give all of our previous content the same treatment? So why don't we questify that as well? So this required Bungie to make Ghost's role more important, which meant the studio needed more lines of dialogue to be recorded. As a result, they hired Nolan North to be the voice. So
that's a lot of work. For what voice actors actually have to do, that's a lot of work.
It is. Now, but he's very good at what he does.
No, yeah.
So I have no doubt that he's done a great job with it. Now, what's really cool about that is players that are just now going to be starting Destiny, because there's a edition that comes with basically all of the expansions up till the Taken King. It'll be very consistent for them as opposed to having two different voice actors. And it's going to be more consistent for us too. Say, for example, if you go back and create a different class, like I might go back and create a Titan, then I'll have Nolan North the entire time instead of Peter Dinklage and then Nolan North, it's going to be very interesting. And I don't know, I mean, there was somebody who, I don't know, trolls aren't really liking Nolan North, but that's just because
they're trolls.
Yeah, and
that's all they do.
Well, it's just because, Peter Dinklage's lines were so funny. And if you notice, I think Beyond the Dark Below, there wasn't really too much added wise for his voice work. I think there was a few lines that they reused or whatever for The Dark Below, but nothing for...
Yeah, it I mean, you only have so much of. I think another thing was because Dinklage was like, he's busy. Is that another reason why?
Yes, he's very busy with Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and I guess his delivery on the lines, which is very surprising because Peter Dinklage is very good. He's a good actor. His delivery on the lines was not as excited as or animated or anything.
I mean,
I think he
recording
took
for a video game.
well. I think he took the robot thing a little too seriously, if that makes sense. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend to know what Peter Dinklage was thinking or where his mind was when he recorded it. But hey, I mean,
So for those who are going into voice acting, just as a future reference, if you're recording for a robot, don't try to sound like a robot. Apparently, it depends on what your director says. Really.
Yeah, like they'll kind of give you an idea of what they want it to sound like, but you're going to be able to give some input because you're the one that's voicing it. So they obviously chose you out of so many people to do it because they liked you. So
yeah, I've learned a lot about voice acting recently. Not that I'm getting into it, although it'd be very interesting.
I think it would
could.
be great. I'd love to do that kind of stuff.
But it is a lot of work. Like,
it is.
Like I can't remember. Dang it! Like certain people who do like voice dubs for anime,
Right.
they will spend like hours and hours at a time in a booth, and like, oh yeah, it was during the Dragon Ball Z dub recordings. Like some of the people actually passed out, like in the booth.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, that's a lot of work.
mean,
for screaming into a microphone.
for certain people who are used to voicing a certain character for so many years, it'll come easy after a while. But if you have to create a whole new voice and all that and have to remember to do that voice, it's hard work. It is hard work. You put many hours into it, and you sit there in a tiny little booth covered in foam,
like we have in
like
the
we are
studio.
in here, like here, but it's much smaller.
A lot smaller.
And you sit in front of a music stand with a script, and you're watching the cartoon on screen and making sure that your stuff lines up with what's
you
going on.
don't just walk in there and say your line. No, you have to do that like 100 different times.
Yeah.
Because the pitch could be different or your inflections and
because you can't really put your own inflection on it or make your own inflection on it. You have to very rigorously pay attention to the mouth movements of the cartoon character in question. Now,
the lip flaps can be done in edit technically.
It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing, say, for example, a video game that's still being produced and it's not completely rendered, they can change a little bit of it in a computer. They can do some post-editing. But if it's already said and done, then it's really hard to...
But in the case of Ghost, you really could just kind of change because all he does is probably move up and down.
No, for the Ghost, it's pretty easy. You don't have to do
He
anything.
doesn't
But
have lips.
mouth movements are a very important thing. Yeah, especially for stuff that is dubbed over. Then they can't really do too much in terms of editing.
Maybe we should get an actual voice actor on the show and then we should like interview him.
Perhaps that
way.
might be possible one day.
Do you think you got connections, Rachel?
Not yet. I'll work on it.
Okay. Well, we're not like voice acting experts or anything, but, we're just kind of giving a general idea. A real voice actor could give you a whole bunch of...
Yeah, well, there's different
hints and
types
stuff.
of voice acting, many different types. I mean, there's voice actors that do podcasts and podcasts only, and they voice the characters in those podcasts. Then there's those that do cartoons, and then there's those that do video games and all sorts of different stuff. So there's many different kinds.
If I had to go into voice acting, I have no idea what I would want to do. I don't even know what kind of I haven't actually practiced that or anything like that. I can do funny voices, sure,
Right. Well, it's it's an interesting thing to do, and it's hard work, but it's also fun.
I'm actually kind of looking around the internet to see if there's like some kind of internet voice acting I can do. Maybe I don't know.
Well,
I'm just kind of curious.
yeah.
All right. Well,
But next up, we have our technology news. Stuff from Google and stuff from Apple and stuff from a company that doesn't exist anymore.
pretty much.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah.
It's kind of exists.
But what is our song, Caleb?
This next song is also from Sonic Rush.
Oh, boy.
Like I said, it is Back to Back, and yeah, that's the name of the song. So we'll be right back here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio.
And we are back on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. My name is Rachel, and I have in front of us me. There is no us. Jeremy is missing this week. He's out of time. Yeah, no, Jeremy's just invisible, actually. No, he's in Washington,
Darn
D.C.
it, Jeremy. Why is he always in the invisible box?
Yeah, well,
I'm Kayla, by the way.
Yeah, well, he's out of town this week. We miss him.
Jeremy.
But, so it's a sad day for the musical childhood of many generations. The Associated Press is reporting that the parent company of Columbia House, the organization behind the famous music and DVD clubs of yore, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection.
Wow, Chapter 11. You skipped Chapter 1 through 10.
The move comes after nearly 20 years of declining sales, according to AP. Filmed Entertainment, which is the parent company for Columbia House, told The Wire service that revenue hit a high of $1.4 billion in '96, but then in 2014 that figure fell to 17 mil, or roughly 1% of its peak. While Chapter 11 protection doesn't necessarily mean Filmed Entertainment intends to go out of business, but it's not looking good. Companies like Radio Shack and Kodak have done this in recent years in order to obtain a certain period of time in which the company can rebuild itself and shield itself from creditors. Kodak, at least, emerged from the situation. Radio Shack, not so much.
Yeah, these old companies like AOL and stuff like that, they're starting to go down.
Well, that's because they're so old, and technology is advancing, and CDs are kind of on the decline, which is So
I think AOL's still kind of in business.
They kind of
because
exist.
They're getting money from dead people.
No, I mean they kind of exist in the way that they're part of another company now. And Kodak, I actually went into Target the other day, and I saw Kodak film for Polaroid cameras, and there was actual Polaroid cameras at Target. Like, they're coming back. It's a weird, indie sort of thing now. I don't know.
Weird indie thing.
I don't know.
They used to be a giant company, and now they're indies.
Yeah, but Kodak emerged, and Kodak was, very popular, big company. So I'm not surprised. But Radio Shack, I wasn't surprised that they didn't emerge. So we never know. I mean, you never know whether Filmed Entertainment is going to come back.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that news was kind of funny because it's like some service that's how old now?
It's old.
It's really old.
It's old.
Like, they used to sell vinyls.
No, I remember back in the day, the music and DVD clubs. You would join a club and you get all this stuff for it. And I mean, similar instances. I mean, Loot Crate is kind of like that now. But I mean, these things were pretty big, and they had a lot of members and made a whole bunch of money from this thing. But now with, new technology and stuff like that, it's not needed anymore, really. It's not, well, unless it is in a sense, but they're going to have to reevaluate what their goal is and what kind of company they are. So who knows? Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. But you want to talk about Google?
I will try.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is from a Google blog. I'm just going to read it. As Sergey and I wrote in the original founder's letter 11 years ago, Google is not a conventional company. We do not intend to become one. As part of that, we also said that you could expect us to make smaller bets in areas that might seem very speculative or even strange when compared to our current business. From the start, we've always strived to do more and to do important and meaningful things with the resources we have. We did
a lot of things that seemed crazy at the time.
Most of those crazy things now have over 1 billion users.
Yeah.
Like Google Maps, YouTube, Chrome, and Android.
Yeah, and YouTube makes a lot of people money now.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Not me, but, other people.
Hey, one day.
Maybe one day. And we haven't stopped there. We're still trying to do things other people think are crazy, but we are super excited about. We've long believed that over time, companies tend to get comfortable doing the same thing, just making incremental changes, which a lot of companies do.
And are successful at it, but sometimes you need to jump the shark in a good way.
But in the technology industry, we're revolutionary ideas, wow, that's weird, drive the next big growth areas. You need to be a bit uncomfortable to stay relevant. Our company is operating well today, but we think we can make it cleaner and more accountable. So we are creating a new company called Alphabet. I'm really excited to be running Alphabet as CEO with help from my capable partner, Sergey, as president.
I don't really know what Alphabet is about yet.
Alphabet is
It's a new company, obviously.
It's the new company that is like going to be all right. I saw a chart. There's a chart. You have Alphabet,
Okay.
and then from there stems out everything else.
Okay.
So like you'll have that one company that they bought, and there's that, and then you have that one.
Okay, so
other
for all
company.
the other companies that they bought, not including YouTube Maps, Chrome,
Well,
Android.
That is a part of Google.
Okay,
Google
well, I
is
know
a part
that.
of Alphabet.
Okay, so now Alphabet is above Google.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. So Alphabet is like the giant, like, is kind of like the circle.
Okay, yeah.
Inside the circle
There's
is
all the
Google
other things. Well, yeah,
and
I
other
get
things.
that. I get that.
And then
But
under Google is YouTube. And
okay. Oh, okay,
Maps
okay.
and
So
stuff like that.
Alphabet is pretty much going to be in charge of everybody now. Okay. Well, I'm interested to hear more about what this
Like,
is going to be.
Google is still a thing.
Oh, well, I know that. It's not that Google's not a thing, but now it has something above it. I know that. I get that. That's easy.
Yeah.
I got that. Yeah. But that's interesting. I'm excited to see what stems
I mean,
from this.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, well, like they said, they've never been a conventional company, so this is them doing something new, which is great.
and then they will own the world after this.
Pretty much, I'm
Well,
sure. Yeah. But Apple, moving right along, Apple is expected to be hosting its fall media event on September 9th, which is going to focus on the company's next iPhones and other stuff. This news is according to a BuzzFeed source who says that the company is intending to hold the meeting during the week of September 7th, with Wednesday which is the 9th, being the most likely day. Now, we also reported, I believe, last week about the whole phone service thing that Apple's trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, they have actually denied it.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Well, then.
they've denied it. And that comes from my friend Luis. Thank you for the tip on that. But they've denied it. I'm not sure exactly.
well, be that way, Apple. Geez.
I mean, it could actually be real, but they're just denying it because they don't want anyone to know anymore, or they don't want to say anymore. But who knows? More on that as it develops.
it's so funny.
But yeah, no, but Apple is holding that big media thing that they do every September, I think.
Yeah, well,
So-
they'll unveil the next 10 iPhones or whatever
Yeah.
it is. I don't even know.
As usual. I don't know. I'm happy with my 6.
iPhone
so
1700, blah, blah, blah.
I'm happy with my iPhone 6. Thank you.
I'm happy with my Android.
Yeah.
Well, not really. It needs to. I need to upgrade because it's
Yeah.
kind of breaking. But
Okay.
other than that, you know,
But yeah, that is our
that's all
technology news. That's all she
she wrote.
wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate every single listener that we have. Once again, you can find us on YouTube at Strangely Entertaining, on Facebook at the Nerd Edification Hour, and also on Twitter at Nerd Edification.
And as always, feel free to leave feedback. You know, tell me how my voice is terrible. You don't want to listen to me anymore. Or you could say how we need to see more Rachel because Rachel, or more plushies, more Yoshis, or whatever.
Hey,
in
send
the-
us a
in the
message. We
studio.
love your feedback.
Song suggestions.
Oh, we need those definitely. Yeah, we appreciate every little bit that we can get.
If you don't send me song suggestions, you're going to be listening to Sonic Rush for the rest of the
Oh,
season.
don't threaten that. But once again, quick reminder, we will not be on the air next week. We're going to take a week or two break. Keep an eye on the Facebook page on when we will return at a different time, more than likely. So
Yeah, we'll have change
tuned.
times. So for those of you who listen, on the AM, I don't know what to say. Maybe I'll tell somebody to, just keep listening to the AM if that's all you do. I don't know. I don't really know. So yeah, that'll be it here as I choke up on my words. So for our outro song, I might have to play 2 of them.
that's
because,
perfectly fine.
kinda
Go
short.
right ahead.
It's Wrapped in Black from Sonic Rush again. And then lastly, we'll have White Land from F-Zero.
Okay.
And till whenever we're back, stay fancy.
Everyone, stay cool.
Bye.
Bye.